Hindi ko kino-confirm na yan nga
Oo,
yung
okay lang
tinutukoy
yan,
ko.
okay lang yan.
Hindi. Hindi ko kino-confirm.
Alam mo, only be worried if I could tell what hotel you're in based on yung curtain sa likod mo, naka-blur yung background mo. Pero hindi naman ganun. Oo.
Nakakaba, no? Nakakaba.
Sige. Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Zihir Basho. In tonight's Game Plan, we'll talk to Barangay Ginebra interim coach Richard Del Rosario to talk about the squad's recent hot streak in the PBA Philippine Cup.
We'll also sit down with Mela Tunay to talk about the returnees and new faces for the upcoming PVL 2022 Invitational Conference. And we get to chat with Bella Fernando to talk about the Filipinas 2-0 record in the AFF Women's Championship. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. See, I have a very, very good feeling about this body. Barangay Ginebra has successfully secured a playoff berth in the PBA All-Filipino Cup and has gone 2-0 with Coach Tim Cone away from the sidelines. Joining us today is the man who has been leading Barangay Ginebra in his stead, the one and only 11-time PBA champion assistant coach, Coach Richard Del Rosario.
Parang familiar yung last name. Are you
medyo.
guys related?
I don't know, he's wearing some of my clothes.
Well, I don't think you have to say that because it only means two things. Either I lost a lot of weight
Or
you gained a lot of weight.
hindi. Unlike, we have the same body type. Like father, like son na lang. Yun ang sabihin natin.
But you know, I thought I made it clear, no?
Oo.
When they called me, this is not a guesting. This is a takeover.
So, take over to.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Kabahan
Okay.
ka na, Pao. Kabahan
Kinakabahan nga talaga ako. Alright, Z, I think you have to take control here. Sorry.
Okay. Relax lang tayo, Pao.
Oo.
Alright, let's get to it. Coach, how does it feel to be in the studio with your son? Okay, sorry. Iba pala.
You know,
Sorry.
I think he's nervous right now because I'm about to take over his show.
Oo nga eh. Actually, this is how I lose my job formally. Oo,
Alright.
Z,
Okay. Let's get down to business na talaga. Alright, Coach. Once the go-to guy for the athletes, and now you're calling the shots. How different is that dynamic right now as you are the interim head coach of the team?
Well, right now, a lot of people are saying that there's a lot of pressure because I'm coaching the most popular team in the land, Barangay Ginebra, and I'm filling in for arguably the GOAT of all coaches in the PBA, Coach Tim Cone, the winningest coach. But as I've mentioned in the interviews after the game, I'm actually just living my dream, from average player now coaching in the PBA, and I'm not gonna let pressure ruin that. So I'm just going to enjoy it and learn from it.
Yes.
And so far, it's been good because we've won our first two games, and I'm hoping that we can continue.
Na-mention nga ni Coach Tim, and actually, it's been mentioned throughout so many interviews that you are the guy that they talk to if they can't approach Coach Tim. Has that affected yung dynamic nyo with you being the head coach at that moment?
Well, as I've told you at home before, and you were not listening, I'm sure.
Hindi, I'm
But
trying
gonna
to
tell
share
you,
it to everyone.
Okay, for their sake. Yeah, the players approach me, but Probably because, they're just shy, to speak English. No, really. But, I've been with Coach Tim for a long time, and I've had a good relationship with the players. I've been with LA, Scotty, Japeth. So we've developed a good relationship. So, I mean, the transition is not very difficult, I feel, for the players and for myself. If it were a new team, new players, yeah. But since we've been together for a long time, it hasn't been that difficult. And I have veteran players who's helping me out in leading the team. Talking about LA, Tenorio, of course, Japeth, Christian, Stanley, Jeff, and all the other guys.
I'm so curious, Coach. Was there any piece or pieces of advice that Coach Tim Cone gave you before he left?
Yes. Well, he just told me, coach based on my personality, based on my instincts. Don't coach the game the way you think I would coach it. So, he always said that even before, whenever we had discussions with him. If you handle a team, just follow your instincts and just coach it based on your personality and make it your team. I'm not changing a lot of things. This is still the system of Coach Tim, and I'm just keeping things in order until he comes back. So hopefully we'll be in a good position come playoffs.
Just so everyone knows, when he says he coaches to his personality, hindi siya nagpapatawa during practice or in the locker room. He's a very serious guy. I promise. Okay, it happens.
We'll take your word
Pero
for it.
looking at this, traditionally, I've seen it, you've seen it, Barangay Ginebra typically starts slow in conferences. This time, a bit different. But then in your first 2 games in charge, you didn't start the way you guys wanted to in both games. And is that something that is hard to get rid of sa identity ninyo?
Well, we faced 2 teams that were in the bottom of the standings. No? So, and coming off a big win against one of the top teams, San Miguel, there's going to be a natural letdown from the players. And you can talk to them as much as you want and keep them ready, but sometimes it's just going to happen. And it's a good thing that we make adjustments and we found a way to win. We tightened up our defense. We shared the ball. Our assist has gone up, and I'm very proud of that fact. And hopefully we can carry on. So the goal right now is just to get better each game and learn from it, and hopefully come playoffs we can go deep into the playoffs.
That's right. And now you mentioned na maganda yung takbo ng team ngayon. You're now at 6-1. What do you think is the key to sustaining that kind of level?
Well, just being level-headed, not looking at the record, but be more concerned with how we're playing as a team, how we're getting better each game, how we're realizing that we're not perfect and we make mistakes, plenty of mistakes, and there's a lot of room to grow. I think if you keep that in mind and just be concerned about yourself, how to improve yourself, how to help each other out, then we'll be fine.
TNT is next on Sunday, and I think arguably, fairly saying, on paper, this is the first team na, at least on paper, na maka-match up kayo. How much bigger of a challenge is this for you going into this one? Of course, I'll ask you this tomorrow over lunch or whatsoever, but then what can you share?
Well, every time we face TNT, we expect a tough battle. And the guys are ready for it. I think we're preparing for it. It's going to be a tough stretch. We have TNT, and then we have Meralco, and then we'll finish off with Northport and Phoenix. By that time, Coach Tim will be back. So we're just going to play it not any different from how we play the last 2 teams that we won against. We're not looking at really who we play. We're just concerned about how we play as a team. So hopefully, with that in mind, yun nga, medyo we can build on what we have and get better each game.
All right, so now that we're through talking basketball, Z, is it obvious ba na may resemblance o mana talaga sa nanay ko?
I'm not sure, but let me be safe. Anyway, Pao, Coach, thank you for joining us
Oh,
tonight.
yeah, Paolo, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh,
and
hello.
after the break,
Yes. All right, after the break, we'll find out the latest additions to your favorite PVL teams as they gear up for the 2022 Invitational Conference. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. PVL fans, the wait is almost over. Teams are approaching their final preparations for the Invitational Conference happening this Saturday na at the Phil Oil Flying the Arena. And joining us tonight to keep you updated on the latest additions and player movements in the league is our resident volleyball analyst, Miss Anong Tunay herself, Mela Tunay.
Hi, Ate Zia,
I'm just so happy to still be here in the show right now. Pero yeah, okay, so I'm gonna actually ask the both of you, Z and Mela, about everything happening in the PVL. Kasi syempre, there are a few movements. Returning players, new players. Simulan natin muna sa returning players. Army, Jovelyn Gonzaga, arguably one of the bigger names coming back. How big of a factor is she? Not just for the team, pero for the league. Because everyone remembers and knows her exploits in the past, and just her being in the league just makes it a better place.
That's right. I think she's really one of the core ng Army team. And, you know, with their additions from last conference, the Michelle Morente, Odi Paran, even Ivy Perez, they need more experience to gel. Kasi last year in the Ilocos bubble, despite, you know, Army not placing in the higher ranks for the PVL 2021, they managed to pull off mga 5-setter games against the top teams in that conference, diba? So iba rin talaga yung nadudulot ng experience ni Ate Jo sa kanilang lahat.
Michelle Gumabaw coming in for Creamline. Obviously, the rich get richer in terms of talent in that team. And I think her coming back is also a big statement dito para sa Creamline.
Definitely, she's one of the important pieces of Creamline ever since naman. And it was good that Tots Carlos filled in that spot really, really well. And then now it's just a matter of sino na bang pinakamagaling among them sa natira sa team na to. And it's good kasi even if she wasn't with the team earlier this year, you already see like on social media that they were still like together as one unit.
And speaking of Creamline still, we're gonna move on to one of the new rookies here, si Lori Bernardo, who is foregoing the last 2 playing years in the UAAP, and that's going to be something we're going to be discussing throughout at least the lead-in to the conference. First of all, would you have left? Would you have like back in your time? Okay, no, you don't have to answer that. Okay, but Mela, how big is it that she is coming in, a young whippersnapper trying to make a difference here?
Well, sabi kasi ng mga coaches, masarap talagang turuan yung mga bata, di ba?
Yeah.
They're really looking to learn a lot of things. So I think, with Bernardo coming into Creamline, a champion team with a lot of veterans, MVPs in their team, tapos si Lori, ang ganda talaga ng potential na pinakita niya for UP. I think it's a perfect match na magtatagpo yung experience at potential, and I think Creamline could bring out the best version of Lori Bernardo.
See, ano yung challenges for a young player like Lori coming into a team like Creamline that's expected to challenge for championships over and over again?
I guess the expectations have to be managed. Kasi sabihin mo, Lori Bernardo, one of the best in the UAAP, and then she goes right into the professional level. Siyempre, expectation mo, dapat yung kung ano yung tingin sa kanya sa collegiate, ganun din sa professional. But we might forget that this is the professional. Itong mga athletes na to na nasa team na, hasang-hasa na yan, babad na yan sa a higher level of play here in PBL.
A couple new players also moving around. Marian Buitre now going to Petrogas and Alina Bacar going to Cherry Tigo. You look at those 2 moves for those 2 teams. Let's try to go into the mind of the management. Why get those players?
Well, yun nga kasi like Cherry Tigo, di ba? Storyline nila from 2021, they came in as defending champions for the Open Conference noong 2022, pero naging iba yung storya, naging iba yung resulta. So I think it's a constant want for every team to really improve their lineup or mas, i-beef up pa. And with Balipur not joining, they really took advantage to get their key players. And it's been a common comment from the volleyball fans na ang daming tao, ang daming weapons si Cherry Tigo.
Yeah.
So maybe they banked on a reliable setter like Alina Bicar para i-utilize din ng maayos or to add up to the playmaking of the team.
Yeah, so again, Cherry Tigo trying to reconfigure themselves after a relatively disappointing conference from their end. And of course, Petrogas naman, Z, you have anything to add here about how their new addition could help out?
Yes, I wanted to add also about Alina being a new addition to Cherry Tigo. These 2 girls, si Marian and Alina, I like their attitude, I like their confidence, Miss Punk. And I think that's a good addition when they come into a settled team na. Petrogas, finalist yan in the last conference. I think she will just be another, gem to deepen the bench also for the team.
Yeah. So we're not just seeing players moving on to new teams or returning players and all of that. We're also expecting to see new versions of old people. All right? So that I don't know, that sounds romantic. I don't. Ito, new experience from the Southeast Asian Games, especially from yung mga trainings nila in Brazil and all of that, Kyla Atienza and Kat Tolentino. When you have an experience like that, Mela, how do you tataas ba yung expectations natin for the 2 of them, especially with that experience under their belt?
Well, I think common yun sa Pinoy na kapag galing sa ibang bansa, the same way na si Dindin,
Yeah.
diba? Si Jaja, si Mylene Paat, ang taas ng expectations natin sa kanila. But I think we have to remember also na they're there not to really get the medal agad kasi it's a process, especially for Philippine volleyball. It's a constant aim for progress and improvement. So, siguro what we can expect is yung ma-adapt lang nila yung culture from the different places na nag-train sila, like in Brazil, and yung mga foreign teams na nakalaro nila to adapt yung speed. So, yung exciting part dun is may PVL agad right after those international tournaments, and we're gonna see kung ano man yung nadagdag sa laro nila.
Same question there kasi na-mention nga ni Mela that yung expectation natin kapag galing abroad, iba yung dating nila pag-uwi.
Correct,
Oo.
correct. We have to remember that isang piraso lang siya of the 6 na nasa loob ng court. So as much as grabe yung ginaling ni Kat, grabe yung ginaling ni Kyla from that international experience, we have to remember that they still have 5 other girls inside the court that they're playing with. So iba talaga yung gel. Kasi sa abroad, matataas na level yan.
Yeah.
In Japan, in Thailand, in Brazil, in the Southeast Asian Games. So we have to manage our expectations. Once again, na as much as they can produce 20, 30, 40 points in a game, it will matter pa rin ano yung ginagalaw ng ibang teammates nila.
So we're gonna see all of that and more come the opening of the PVL happening very, very soon. And we're gonna talk a lot about
Natulog na
that.
lang.
I still want to learn how Mela can tweet
Right?
and call the games at the same time.
Live.
Ibang klase talaga.
Kaya watch live.
And watch live. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, Mela, Tunay, maraming salamat. We're gonna have you here more often, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Ate Z.
When we return, we'll talk about the Filipinas' 2-0 record in the AFF Women's Championship with Belay Fernando. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
You're watching The Game. The Philippines women's football team now holds a record of 2-0 in the AFF Women's Championship after a landslide victory against Singapore. 7-0 lang naman.
7-0 lang.
With us today to talk more about the Filipinas and their stellar play is their team manager, Belay Fernando. Hey Belay, what's up?
Hi G, hi Paolo. Thank you for having me.
All right, first off, baka kasi nakakalimutan ng mga audience natin. World Cup. We qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah. We're
And-
World Cup bound.
Yes, next year. And Belay, kamusta? How has the preparations been like since you guys qualified for the World Cup?
Now, I actually just posted about it, reflecting about it very recently, maybe 2 days ago, like that the journey actually started even before the AFC Women's Asian Cup. It started almost 11 months ago. And that was when we started the preparations for the qualifiers for the Women's Asian Cup. And it has been a whirlwind journey of not being home here with our family for a month or around a month at a time. So it's been non-stop travel, non-stop camps and games, which is really good for the team. But, medyo nakakapagod rin siya, pero nonetheless, very exciting.
I know that's true, Z, kasi I've tried calling Belay before and I did not realize na wala pala siya sa Pilipinas and she's wherever around in the world. So, moving on though, a lot of people are still wondering and are about kung ano ang at stake dito sa AFF Women's Championship. If I'm not mistaken, this is not lead to qualification for anything, but the Philippines has yet to win any major tournament, and that could help in terms of yung preparation nila, at least mentally, at least making sure they're ready for the next step, Belay.
Yeah, I think it's a big nod to the faith that the federation has in this team by hosting, because hosting is no small feat, no? Talagang maraming preparations involved, getting all the teams here, making sure that the accommodations, the food, the fields are ready for all these matches. So it's a big compliment that the federation paid to the women's team. Not only that, aside from the glory of possibly having our very first championship, it also factors in the FIFA ranking points, because each of these games counts. They count as tier 1 or A-level matches. So those are all factored in the preparation leading up to the FIFA Women's World Cup.
That's right, and I remember following you guys. As I told you earlier, Bella, 2017 in LA, you guys played a friendly against Cal State Long Beach, and now you qualified for the World Cup. Grabe talaga yung journey ng team. And I wanted to know more about the players of the team headed to next year's event. Could you tell us more about the key players of the team right now?
I mean, for me, the really special part about this team is that in my heart, they're all key players.
Yes, of course. Oh my gosh, totoo
Pero,
yan.
Belay, I'm going to save you
Totoo
here.
yan.
I'll save you here kasi alam ko that they're all special, but we at the moment, dahil nasa TV tayo, we can only pick a few. So we listed as a group a few of the ones to talk about here. Sarina Bolden, Isabella Flanagan, Hailey Long, and Ina Palacios. I want to start off first with the two forwards, Bolden and si Flanagan. Bolden, veterano ng konti, and then si Flanagan, 17 years old, okay? She's 17 years old. I don't remember what I was doing at 17. I wasn't in college yet. I was still in high school, but this girl is scoring for the national team. Can you tell us a bit about the two of them, yung dalawang strikers natin?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Serena's definitely a veteran, but my gosh, the transformation that this young woman has made ever since she got into a professional club in the Wii League in Japan, actually, Elfin Chifu, I don't know if I'm saying that right, in Saitama, Japan. So just the way her preparation for the games mentally and physically, I've seen a huge change, evolution in how she is. You can even see it in her body and her fitness and her movement. So that has helped her leaps and bounds, and it's been very beneficial to our team. As for Isabella Flanagan, my gosh, what a revelation. I just want to share a short story about how she tried out in one of our US camps. She showed up like a young girl there, and what was funny is I was just sitting on the bench next to a woman na mukhang Tesay. Parang I thought na, American. Kumakain ng dried mango. Yun pala nanay ni Isabella Flanagan. Tapos tinagalog ako. Sobrang na-shock ako. Sabi ko, nako, akala ko pa naman i-Englishin kita. Pero tinagalog ako eh. Nagulat ako sa tinagalog ako. Tapos, syempre, wag natin kalimutan yung isang natin na nagpaparamdam ngayon, si Katrina Galiu. Of
Yes.
course, key player rin yan, no?
Oh, for sure. Hello, Katrina, if you're in the same room. But then, Z has a couple of questions here about some of our older veterans.
From youngsters naman, let's go to the veterans. Hali Long and Ina Palacios. What do they bring into the team coming to the World Cup next year?
Aside from the leadership, whether it's the quiet leadership of showing the resilience, the strength, the small things that you need to be doing. The very special thing about Hailey and Ina, the length that they've been with the team. Ina since she was in the youth, both of them surpassing or reaching 50 caps already with the team. It's just how they ground us and remind and bring the Filipino culture to the team. Always reminding me we should share, we should have Filipino food night. We should, do small thing. It's just, for me, parang, as long as they're well-fed, masaya na ako.
Bella,
Sila sa kanila yun.
I absolutely agree. Sobrang importante yun, especially keep the culture in the team. Unfortunately, we're out of time right now, but you know what? To all the fans out there, you can catch our Filipinas at the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium in the next coming days. You can catch that. Check out the social media pages on how to catch them or go at the venue. Bella, maraming salamat and we'll see you at the games.
Maraming salamat.
All right, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zihir Basho.
And I'm Paolo De Rosario. This has been The Game.